Hello folks, and welcome to Shade Tree Shenanigans, where today we're going on a little adventure. We're going halfway across the country from Virginia to Oklahoma to retrieve my next project, which is a 1954 Chevrolet pickup from my grandfather's farm. So this is our rig that we're taking. My wife and my son are going with me. So we'll be on the road for the next 20 hours or so, and we'll bring you along for the trip. The pickup's been sitting there since the early 80s, I believe, and covered up with stuff, so it should be quite an adventure. Okay, we've been driving since 1:30 today, and it's about 10:30 or 11, I'm not sure. But anyhow, we just made our bed in the back of the Avalanche. Here, put a mattress in. Worked out pretty good. Luke is going to be our driver now for the night shift. Say hi, Luke.
Hi.
Liz is getting ready to go to bed. So we're going to keep on cruising. We got about 9 hours of drive time left. Well, Luke has been driving all night long. He's in the back sleeping now, but the sun has come up. We've driven all the way across Tennessee, all the way across Arkansas, and now we're in Oklahoma. So I think we have about 3 hours or something like that to go to get to our destination, just west of Oklahoma City, but cruising along, everything's going well. We have a lot of fun with here when we come to Oklahoma is this road called Wada Wada Road, because it's right next to Lake Eufaula, which we're going to see here in just a minute. And we always like to say Eufaula and a lot of water. So this is Lake Eufaula coming up. So it's 8:45 in the morning, and we're at Brahms, and Liz is going to get some ice cream, because that's what we do when we go to Oklahoma. It doesn't matter what time of the day it is. What kind are you going to get, Luke?
I have no idea. I don't remember.
Luke just woke up. I'm getting cappuccino chunky chocolate or whatever it is. After 20 hours on the road, we're getting ready to exit Weatherford, Oklahoma. We're getting off of I-40. We've been on this same road for about 16 hours now. We're almost there.
1 mile, leave highway.
1 mile, and we're going to leave the highway. So, not sure when we'll get to the truck, if that'll be later this afternoon or tomorrow, but we'll see you then. All right, this is the shed where the 54 pickup has been sitting since sometime in the mid-80s, I guess, when we built it. And it's a little unclear when we last drove the pickup, but it would have been around then. And so I'm going to flip the camera around here and let you see, but got all kinds of good stuff in here. We're getting ready to start the excavation project, but here it is. You know, this is my son Luke, who did all the driving on the way out, and my friend Roger, who's here to help with the project. And so we drove 20 hours to see my dad and my family, but to pick up this truck. And it has been a collection point for stuff for quite a long time. So we're gonna begin the process of excavating it. Look inside here. I don't know how well you can be able to see with the low light, but there's lots of seed and tools and all kinds of things, along with a really nice layer of dust. And let's see, some commentary that when my boys were much younger, let's see, it says here on the windshield, Cameron is a nerd. So Luke would have written that about his brother, Cameron. And there's some other interesting things on the hood here. But let me show us under the hood there, Luke. So here we have the stock 6-cylinder. I think we found some records that it was rebuilt along the way. Some rods and rings were put in it. There we go, yeah, shine your light down in there. But our goal is to get it out, and we'd like to get it starting and running so that we can drive it on the trailer. So we'll see how that goes. Got a lot of work to do before we do that. Lots of stuff piled up here. All right, now this is the back side. You can see what's stacked up on top of it. Try to show you the other side before we start uncovering. It's a little dark, but this is what it looks like. A lot of work ahead of us here. So we have some additional helpers here. This is my sister, Renita, and my wife, Liz.
Favorite wife.
Yeah. So Renita, did you ever drive this pickup? I think I learned to drive stick probably in this truck back in the 80s. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I certainly drove it around the farm a lot.
We called it the Blue Devil.
The Blue Devil? I was trying to think if it had a name.
Mom and Grandma.
This is my dad.
That's what they called it because they didn't care to drive it.
I think the Blue Devil was an unofficial name. The CB handle was the 54C. 54 Chevrolet, I think. But I don't think it had an actual name other than the people who didn't like it called it the Devil.
Blue Devil.
The Blue Devil.
That's right.
Yeah.
We did.
Okay, I'm going to set up a time lapse here and let you watch while we uncover it. Taking air, one tire taking air, that's a good sign.
Might be your lucky day.
Might be my lucky day. It might actually roll.
That would be nice.
That would be awesome. All right. Emerging for the first time in 30, 40 years. What do you find in there, Roger Dodger?
Oh, a lot of dust.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of dust.
a lot of
Inner tubes.
a lot of good stuff.
So we can all call each other Dusty when we're done with this job.
So this tire, I'm glad they kept it and marked it that it had a slow leak all the way around the edge. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact that it's dry rotted. And look, show me what else you discovered. We thought we had a Chevy truck.
It's an International.
It's an International.
Yeah.
Thought it was a Chevrolet.
You can always tell by the hubcaps.
Yeah. Well, it's out. It's
At least
uncovered.
It's got matching raised white letter tires
Yeah, that's good.
on this side.
I think my cousin Sheldon put those on before he quit driving it. So they're pretty near brand new, I think.
Yeah, might be.
Yeah. Now we got a little work to do on the interior. I guess while we're getting trash, we ought to at least get the big stuff out of here.
Hey, I just discovered something.
What's that?
All 4 tires are matching raised white letter tires.
That's amazing.
They're Remington wide root.
That must
They're
be
hard to come by these days.
Yeah, I'd say they probably are. But they hold air after 30 years. That's impressive. Were you the one that parked it in that exact spot?
I don't. I just remember bringing it down here. I
Yeah.
don't know if it was right there or not.
So you drove it. You were the last one to drive it. This is my cousin Sheldon. He was the last one to drive it.
Yeah,
We're admiring your raised white letter tires you put on it. They hold air after how many years? It had to be the late 80s because this shed was built probably 86, 7.
That was way more paint than I remember.
Well,
Yeah, he did.
Grandpa always said that dirt.
I expected that. He said it never set out a day to slap until I brought it.
Grandpa always said that dirt preserved the paint. He didn't want to wash his cars.
Let's see how it works.
Yeah, we'll see how that works. Has some
All the sand dust.
has some pretty neat patina.
Yeah.
Also, all four wheels rolled. All 4 tires held air. I feel like I'm way ahead of the
You
game.
may drive it home yet today.
And we got
I was saying he ought to have Luke drive the truck and trailer, and he drives behind him in the truck, or the other way around.
The other way around.
so there's been plenty of guys online that have gotten things like this and drove it home.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
1,300 miles is a long
That
way.
might be a little ways. I don't think it's ready for the interstate yet.
And that thing has good patina though. But that front fender is really bad, and this one is really bad. So that's going to make it hard to leave the patina if I want to straighten those at all. We have lots of supervisors here. But we got it uncovered in short order.
Really?
Didn't take us long at all.
You just use a loader or what?
Luke is digging your tires. He likes the white letters. right, so we got it cleaned up. We got it here in the shed. Luke is working on cleaning out the interior a little bit. And he found a fire extinguisher in there. Show me your fire extinguisher there, Luke.
From 1973.
But it needs to be recharged. We can't figure that out.
Cool.
But let's move up here to the engine compartment. So, a couple of really good things. The wheels were free, so it rolled. The tires hold air. And now the engine is free. So, I don't know how many times I'm going to hit my head on that. But it turns over pretty easy. You can just turn it with the fan here. And yeah, no resistance at all. It wasn't stuck at all, so that's a good sign.
Real good sign.
Yeah, and I pulled a spark plug. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's a little carbon. It's not carboned up. It's just a little black. So I think we're going to be okay there. Took the distributor cap off, sanded the points. They were a little bit corroded, but yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and put this spark plug back in. Then we'll pull the dipstick and see what the oil looks like. And then we'll take the air cleaner off and see what we got down the carburetor. But
I don't think there's any bird nest in there.
I hope there's not any nests in there. That would be more good news. It's one thing about vehicles being stored in Oklahoma. They don't rust near like they do back in Virginia where I'm from. Everything rusts and corrodes up. And as you can see, this has original paint on, and the paint wears off before it actually rusts, typically. So, same for other things. You don't seem to corrode and rust near as fast because it's super dry climate. So, what did I say I was going to do next? Pull the air cleaner? Let's do that.
I believe so.
Get some light on the situation. See what we find in here. Old oil bath air cleaner. I have a feeling it'll be clean.
On the inside.
On the
Hope
inside.
it's much cleaner on the
Nothing is clean
inside
on the
than the
outside. So
outside.
Oklahoma is dry, but it's also very dirty. And
Lots of dust flying
so-
around.
yeah. Oh, look at this.
Oh, it's better than I thought.
Look at that oil bath air
Wow,
cleaner.
cool. Yeah.
So, I don't know if this comes off. Oh, there's a clamp on the bottom down there. But I think I can just look in up here. You see down in there. Looks really clean. Oh yeah, completely clean. Yeah.
No reason to take the air cleaner off.
No, I don't think we need to. All right, this morning it's Tuesday morning, and Dad and I are headed to the courthouse in Arapahoe to try to get a title for the 54 pickup. So apparently we can't find it in Grandpa's information, and the DMV hasn't been able to find it in their information. So we are going before the judge trying to get a title. So hopefully we can get a title for it, or our project might be over. We travel through the countryside here in Oklahoma, lots of windmills everywhere. You have any words of wisdom for us?
Turn right at the next stop sign.
Okay, we'll do that. I have my own personal GPS here this morning. All right, we're headed into the Arapahoe courthouse to see what we find out in Arapahoe, Oklahoma. Well, all right. We just had a grueling meeting with the judge, and gave our testimony about the truck and what we knew about it, which wasn't a lot, but she thought it was sufficient to give us a title. So we've got the paperwork we need here now to go to the DMV and get the title. What do you think? That was pretty tough? We were over prepared, but that's good. Okay, so I got my Uncle Michael here to help me now, and we forgot to record, but we did get it to fire. I had to work on the points and some sketchy wiring, but we got it to where it's firing, so let's see if we can get it to go.
This is the extent of my help.
All right, go ahead, Luke.
There should have been something coming out of that.
Well, it ran. Yeah. Sounds like it's gonna run all right. Yeah, if we can.
What kind of a fuel pump?
It looks like it's inverted. Typically, the bowl is not on top. All right. Well, we got it running now. We got to see if we can get a better fuel source to it. I'm not getting anything. Oh, now it's coming. Oh, yeah, that's coming. Oh, now it's coming a steady stream. It looks like gas now. I think we're good. It's pretty good. It's pretty clean. I mean, it's still got that kind of color to it. I think I should do some more. So this has an interesting fuel pump. It has a glass bowl on top. And so we took that and cleaned it out. We now have clean fuel coming to the fuel pump. We're putting air pressure in the fuel tank. And so we have clean fuel to the fuel pump. So now we're putting a little more gas in the tank. Seems like the tank must be okay. Didn't get rust or anything out of it. And now we're gonna see if the fuel pump pumps. That's the next thing. All right, so we didn't video much of it, but we finally got it running. We're using a boat tank. We couldn't get the fuel pump. Fuel pump will not pump, so thinking we needed a new fuel pump. Sort of worked, but anyway, we hooked the boat tank to it and it's idling. Running really nice. It's amazing. It's sat for 30 some years. Starts up and runs. So I guess we're going to go drive it a little bit. I don't know if it'll start up without the battery charger. Oh, that sounds so familiar.
Pull the juice away from the coil.
That might have been what it was. All right, we're going on our first ride. It's got super low gear. Oh. Yeah, the carburetor needs a little cleaning out.
need a better battery.
Well, it's cranking over fine now. It's just not starting. It's not firing for some reason. How can I get some gas into the carburetor for right now?
There we go, some gas.
In business for a little bit. We're kind of marginal on having enough fuel to keep it running. Oh, I bet it's because we came up that hill.
Yeah, it sure took a lot of gas during that.
No, but it was going back in the tank. So that it wasn't taking away. Might do the same going down.
Nice to have a fuel pump.
Yeah, it would be.
You think we could rebuild it here?
Have to order a kit. Okay, after our first drive, we determined that our fuel tank was not high enough. So we're thinking maybe this will work. It was not feeding into the carburetor sitting on the fender. So we're going to go try this. We've added brake fluid, but it made no difference, which was a big surprise to all of us. Because it was recently inspected. The inspection on it is 1973. So it's hard to believe that the brakes aren't still working. All right, it's about 2 days later. We haven't worked on the truck much, but I have Dad here with me. And we've got it running pretty decent from the boat tank for fuel. But the starter has not been working very well. So we ordered a starter and picked that up this morning. So now we're gonna install a starter and a new battery. And we'll show you what we're doing there. This starter looks to be the easiest starter I've ever had to access. But from the top, I should be able to easily reach it here. Just a couple of bolts down there. And should be easy, but that sounds like famous last words. We'll see. So we've run into our first issue with installing the new starter. It says, stop, please call an ASE certified technician for assistance. And I'm not sure, we're a long ways from town.
Right here's the technician.
But Dad said he could act as the ASE certified technician for this difficult project. So we'll try it under his supervision, see how it goes. With the assistance of my ASE certified mechanic, I got the starter installed. Pleasantly surprised how easy it was. I didn't have to get underneath at all. So got it Got it installed. Now we'll see if it starts any better. Also put a new battery in. We'll try it out. Okay, we're gonna try it. See how our starter works. Oh, do you know how to hook the switch up, Luke? Let's show us what you're doing there.
Oh, I'm hooking up with an alligator clip this starter switch.
That's the ignition switch.
Ignition switch doesn't work.
We had to bypass the ignition switch. Hot wiring it, basically.
Ready?
All right, let's see if it'll start. That would be a no. Okay, I think we maybe found out what it is. Let's try it again.
Ready?
Yep. Push it hard. Well, never mind. It's just not pushing it down quite far enough.
You have a spacer or something we can put in there? No.
Push it down real hard. It's crazy. Why is it not working? Okay, so we were having trouble with our starter not working. We thought we had a defective starter because we had 6 volts and we thought the switch was fully depressing, but we discovered it wasn't. Show us what we got there, Luke.
Well, this arm here, this is from the old starter. You can see how much thicker it is here where it presses down on the button. And the other one's too thin to make it work.
Wasn't pushing it down far enough.
Yeah.
We discovered we could push on that button by hand and make it run, but we couldn't figure out why it wasn't working, but we discovered that. So Luke, we kind of made it work by bending the linkage, but Luke wanted to do it right and take the starters apart and swap out that arm, which is actually the right way to do it. So he figured out how to do it, and he got it out of the old one. Now we're gonna put it in the new one.
You know what? That is you do have a vacuum advance. You do. There's a little diaphragm on your distributor, and but you just have a steel line instead of a.
Goes right up to the intake.
Yeah, see the one on that 53, I thought it was so cold shouldered.
Yeah.
Well, come to find out that vacuum advance wasn't working. Well, here, I just found out that the mechanism inside there was just tight, so I put WD-40 in there and kept working it, and it worked fine.
So this one must be working, because when I drove it, it seemed to, it actually has pretty decent power.
Well, and on that 53, I think it's the 53, the whole distributor twists.
Yeah.
When you...
Oh, and it advances?
Yeah, so you can see if it's working or not. Now, I don't know if this is the same way or not.
I didn't even notice it had a vacuum advance. It's so caked with dirt and stuff. All right, so show me what we got. We're getting ready to change oil. And
we have a new old stock.
New old stock
I think
filter.
That's what they call it, yes.
Yeah.
And when I say new, it's 29 years old.
29 years old. So luckily it was labeled in 94.
That's right. That's when I would have replaced, I would have changed oil in 94 then. I was thinking it was 95 because I replaced it because it was Dad's filter.
Yeah.
So he has one on stock for you. Now you're going to have to replace it.
I'm going to have to replace it.
We'll start the cycle.
Well, the next time he needs a filter for a 54 Chevy pickup, I'll get it for him.
Then he's going to say, well, then I have to wait on it.
Oh. Yeah, you'll have to.
I don't think he's going to be getting his A combine out anytime
I don't think so.
And the 53 takes a different filter.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because I tried to use this and didn't work.
So this one's a
canister.
It goes right in here.
Put the price on here, so I'm...
Man, how do we know how much you paid for it?
I know, I did falter. We don't know how much inflation we've had.
Well, Luke got a lesson in labeling the battery before he put it in. We had to label the battery.
You have Atwoods in Virginia?
No, we don't. But anyway. All right. Well, so the oil was clear when we checked it before we ran it. Now that we ran it, it's milky.
Ooh,
so I'm thinking we need to change it.
You think water from when you pressure washed it, or just water was in there, condensation?
So
and stuff?
Based on what happened with my 28 Pontiac, when it sat for just a few years, it got condensed moisture in there. I'm hoping in 30 years, it was just condensing. I mean, it looks for all the world like a head gasket leaking, but I don't think that's it. I think it's just...
What is this? Is that just a breather? That's a funny...
I think it's a breather because it goes back into the intake. It's exhaust gas recirculation.
Well, there you go. We were saving the earth clear back in 54.
So the 28, that breather just goes out into the air, and it's a significant output, the blow by.
That's what I had my 84 Mercury. I took it off too, so.
Putting too much junk back in the intake? Yeah.
By the way, something to watch if you rebuild that fuel pump.
Yeah.
When I rebuilt mine the first time, it started up, it pumped, it started brand. But I was stepped back and was filming and watching, and all of a sudden there was just puddle coming out from under the pickup.
Yeah.
And there was pure gasoline pouring out of the breather, because on that pickup, the breather just goes out on the ground too. And I pulled the dipstick, I shut it off. I was like, well, that means there's oil inside, and the whole pan was full of gasoline. Well, what was happening, one of those check valves or something in there was stuck.
Yeah.
It was just pumping oil right into the engine. So I got on.
You mean pumping fuel?
Fuel.
In there.
So I got online, and it's a very common thing.
So one of those check valves was stuck in there when I took it apart, but...
So that's something to watch for. The first time you run it after you do your fuel pump, make sure to have somebody around, or just look under. Because I ran it for a couple minutes that way, which the gas would have washed all the oil off the pistons. But you kind of learn as you go, I guess. I had never heard of a bad fuel pump filling your engine up with gasoline.
Me either. You got it?
We have a problem.
What's that? So is that design different than the other one?
Yes, substantially.
Well, that's a bite.
So it wasn't for this pickup?
So you're the engineer. What are we going to do?
File it off? I don't know.
Can we put another note, change out the nose cone?
I maybe. Let's
Try
clean it up and see.
All right, so this fender has been replaced because the vehicle was in an accident, but it apparently has had another accident since it was replaced. And since my grandfather never throws anything away, we decided to go on a search here on the farm for the old original fender in hopes maybe it would be in better shape. Well, we found it because Grandpa never throws anything away, but it's not in better shape. That is rough. That was a pretty good hit. So anyway, just thought it was interesting that after all these years, we could go down in the canyon and find it, just like Sheldon thought we would. So, all right. Luke is finishing up his starter project. It ended up being a little more complicated than we thought.
Of course.
Of course.
Wouldn't be a car project without that.
Yeah. But he's getting the starter back together with the new, I don't know what you call that. What would you call that thing, Luke?
Arm.
Replace this arm that in the new remanufactured, or no, it wasn't, it was brand new, but in the aftermarket starter, it was just not designed right to be able to push the starter button far enough. Okay, we're headed to the canyon shed to get the starter for 54 off an old truck. Okay, we're arriving in the canyon shed where there are two old Chevy trucks of the similar vintage as the 54. I think one's a 52 maybe, and one's a 53. We're gonna get a starter from one of them. So we got sidetracked a little bit here. Some of the old stuff that is down in the canyon. I think this one they said is a 48. And you might notice the fender's gone. That's the one that is on the 54. That one had chrome bumpers and chrome grille, sun visor, some good fenders, and door. Unfortunately, the same fender that's bad on mine is also bad on this one. Actually, not too bad a shape. Thing has a pretty neat dash. That one's 3-speed on the column instead of 4 on the floor. Okay, now we're back on track and we're gonna go in here. There are 2 wheat trucks here, right here. There's one over there, and they would both have a starter on that would fit probably. Ugh. Here we go. Whole pile of old starters right there. I think this is where we're going to get it from. Okay, I think this is a 52 model and very similar looking engine and very similar looking starter down in here. You can't really see it, but that's what we're going to take and try on the 54. I don't know if you can see, it's kind of dark in here, but there's some cool cars in here. There's a 50 Dodge, and there's a Buick something or other. You can't really see it back there. 60 something Buick, and some old combines and farm equipment. All kinds of goodies. Oh, and there's a Luke. This is the 50 Dodge. This would have been my dad's car that he drove in college and beyond. And then this Buick was my Uncle Michael's. And kind of a cool car, but it smelled like mice even back in the day. I can't imagine what it smells like by now. But it's kind of cool. I think it was a Buick Special or something. I'm not sure, can't remember. So we decided to open the hood. Oh my word. We saw a rat run, Luke did, but that is packed full. Never seen one that bad. I'm gonna try and open the door and see if we can see anything inside. It's not too bad in there. Yeah. Interesting. Last time we tried to start it with the new starter.
Yeah, the new starter doesn't work. So.
How long did it take us to figure that out?
Oh, a few hours.
Half a day?
Yeah. So then you went down in the canyon, got another starter?
We went down to, what year is that truck, Dad? The black one?
53.
52 maybe?
53 probably.
53. We went down in the canyon, an old 1953 Chevy truck that we had, and took an old starter off of that because we're a long ways from town, and it worked. So we tried all kinds of things. Luke helped me try to figure out. The other starter was just dragging, and it just wouldn't pull it. So we got it going. We'll show you what it does. And we'll go in there and pump it a couple times. You always have to. We're still running on the boat tank of gas because our fuel pump doesn't work. Starts right up. Trying to warm up, we're going to drain the oil. All right, runs nice now.
He's in the stop.
Isn't this the intersection where you turn off your lights and go straight through at night?
So every stop sign, there's a commentary. There was a variation on it this time. Usually, Luke responds by saying, "You're still not wearing your seatbelt." But this time he made the valid point that Grandpa at night turns his headlights off and goes straight through that one. Because it's not a valid stop. So after a long, hard day and successful, we're celebrating with fajitas that Janet made us. It's a wonderful meal.
There one on, oh yeah, one you got them. How about? Yeah, it's one on the table. I just don't want to mess up the table.
I think this is the last step in our acquisition of a title. We had to come to the DMV in Weatherford here and actually bring the truck because they want to verify the VIN. And so it was a bit of a chore, but we got it here. So we're gonna go inside now and see if we can give them our last $4, hopefully. All right, just a quick update on where things are. The last couple days have been kind of hectic, but we have been continuing to work on the 54 pickup and work on getting a title. So at this point, we think we have a title coming in the mail. We've done the last step that we know to do, and they verified the VIN. We had to haul it into town so they could verify the VIN. Got that done, and they're supposed to mail us the title in the next week or so. So I think that's good. We got the starter working, got a battery in it, got a few little other things we want to do, but we're pretty much done with what we're going to do here in Oklahoma, other than drive it around a little bit. And then we'll start our journey home here in a couple of days to Virginia, and we'll continue things from there. So we'll keep you updated. Okay, we're on our way home back to Virginia. Where are we at, Liz? Salisaw.
At Brahms.
Oh, at Brahms. Yeah, Salisaw, Oklahoma at Brahms. This is our last Brahms. We've had it almost every day. Let's go get some. We had a bit of a blowout. We were crazy along the interstate, so we couldn't video it very well. But now we're down to no spare, and it's Sunday evening. So I'm not sure what we're gonna do. We got one old tire left. So, let's see what happens. We're gonna see what we can find.
Tire number 2. This one we realized was starting to go. So it's Sunday evening at almost 7 o'clock. And hallelujah for Tractor Supply. They had a tire, so we're going to go ahead and change it. The Lord provided.
Thank goodness for Tractor Supply.
That's right.
Little Rock, Arkansas.
We don't have a video sponsor officially, but that'll be our unofficial video sponsor for today. Here we go.
They had one tire that we needed, and it was on sale.
Woo!
From $199 down to $149. I don't know why.
Well, we'll take it.
The other tire was still okay, but it was starting to split. The sidewalls were starting to go. So the trailer tires that I originally had on here, that were supposedly new when I bought it a year ago, were not new.
pulling hills like crazy. It's interesting driving, slow going. It's actually letting up a bit now. We're about 2 hours from home. We've been driving. How many hours have we been driving? 9:30. 6:30 in Oklahoma, so about 22 hours we've been driving.
All right, so we made it back to Virginia, all 1,300 miles with no more blowouts. We had some bad rain and one traffic jam, only one traffic jam in the whole trip, so that's amazing. So it's back here, and now we're gonna try to get it out of the trailer. It's quite cold-shouldered and the choke doesn't work, and so it takes a little bit of doing, but let's see if we can get it started and back it out. It's a little tight getting in here.
Yeah.
I'll just go as far as I go until it stops. First time driving in Virginia. Okay, I'm gonna take it for a little drive here before I put it in the shed. See if I can make it up the road and back. Trying to video and drive this thing. A little tricky. So, after a week and 2,600 miles of traveling, a lot of work, a little bit of sweat, a little bit of blood, we got him back, the 54 Chevrolet, here in Virginia and running. So now the journey begins of restoring it. I've got a fuel pump on order, got brake parts on order, and we're going to start working on this thing mechanically, trying to get it mechanically sound, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But thank you for joining us on this journey, and it's good to have it here so we can get started on it. Just going to do a quick walk around of the truck before I put it away in the garage for now.